California State University Northridge and the San Fernando Valley sit on top of the land of the Fernandeño Tataviam Band of Mission Indians. CSUN FASA would like to take this moment to acknowledge the indigenous people of this land, of the past, the present, and emerging, and we thank them for allowing us to occupy this space. Hello to members of our community, our friends from external organizations, and of course, our CSUN FASA family. Welcome to CSUN FASA's PCN Rising livestream event. My name is Kirby Ortego, and I am FASA's president for the 2020 through 2021 school year, and I will be serving as your host for this event. So as you may know, I'm sure, this year has been very difficult for a lot of us for many different reasons. For FASA specifically, it was a struggle to adapt to being an online organization. There were many events this year that we still wanted to bring to everyone, one of those events being Pilipino Cultural Night, or PCN. Our previous fall 2020 PCN coordinator, Jonathan Lacanale, brought us the idea for the event, and we are here to help carry out that idea as this year's PCN. So for those of us that have had the privilege of being part of the PCN/PACN journey, it can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. For some, Filipino Cultural Night helps us feel more connected to our culture and the people around us. And sometimes, PCN helps us understand something about ourselves. For others, PCN is that very first stepping stone to learning more about our Filipino culture and opening up a world to us that we weren't aware of while we were growing up. For our friends who are not Filipino or Filipino American, PCN serves as a community that encourages them to be in touch with their own cultures as they work hard alongside us to help us tell our own stories. Filipino Cultural Night is also a journey that we still continue to learn from and ask questions, like, how can we improve our productions to help us build bridges to our homelands? Throughout the event, you will notice that this PCN is much different from most that you've seen. Typically, PCN consists of a scripted story accompanied by traditional Filipino dances. However, due to current circumstances, we are unable to host such a production at this time. So this year, we decided to take this moment to put on a celebration of PCN and PACN, as well as the Filipino culture. It's a time for us to reflect on what PCN has given us and how we can take what we've learned to move forward together. We also wanted to take this opportunity to give back to our community. That is why this event will be a charity event to raise money for the National Alliance for Filipino Concerns in Southern California, also known as NAFCON. All proceeds will go to NAFCON, and donations can be sent through Venmo at CSUN FASA. Any amount helps and is greatly appreciated. And we also have some sponsors for this event that have generously donated money towards NAFCON. Some of these wonderful sponsors include the Purple Jar, Filipino Cultural School, and Calajo Catering. Now, let's begin our event with a couple introductions on CSUN FASA's PCN. We'll first be sharing a video made by yours truly back in 2019, followed by some history on the very first CSUN FASA Filipino Cultural Night, brought to us by Alicia Kudiamat, a CSUN FASA alumni and past president.
PCN stands for Pilipino Cultural Night, and it's an annual show that we've been putting on through our club, CSUN FASA, which is the Filipino American Student Association. It's a stage production that combines both student-written plays and dances from the Philippines in order to showcase and put on a public platform the Filipino and Filipino American culture. A lot of times, I believe Filipino American and Filipino culture isn't necessarily talked about or showcased, at least on a public platform. Or there are little parts of Filipino culture that people don't know about, and it's in those little tiny nuances that make Filipinos Filipino. PCN is a free and accessible way, as well as a entertaining way to learn more about a culture that is very underrepresented.
It's definitely not only for Filipinos or Filipino Americans. I am not Filipino myself. I am Mexican American, and one of the main messages they've instilled into me is acceptance and inclusiveness, and they made that clear. It's because of their kindness that made me want to be here today. Each person, they do PCN for their own reason. There's a lot of us, but each single person, they're here doing it dedicated to someone or trying to learn something about themselves, especially when it comes to identity. So, yeah, it's a good feeling seeing everyone be excited, because once they put it out there in the show, then it's an amazing end product.
Aside from me finding out more about myself or what makes me Filipino American, it's providing a space for other young Filipino Americans that felt the same way I do, to find out what makes them Filipino, or what puts them or places them in this whole Filipino American community. I think the great thing about PCN is that although everyone has their own reasons for doing it, may it be to make their family proud, to reconnect with their culture, the cool thing about it is that everyone does have this inner driving force for them to do it, and I think it's just that the force is the want or the need to find out more about themselves through the culture.
Alicia Torres Kudiamet, and Kirby asked me to talk a little bit about what the first PCN was about since I was there. I was president when we did our first one, which was back in 1986. But a little history, some of the members decided that they wanted to do a little production. And what they did was they did a fashion show. And this fashion show predominantly just focused on showcasing Filipino cultural clothing. And that's how it kind of all started. Then that just kind of progressed into our first PCN. Now, how we became to do that was some of our FASA members, namely Joji and Sunny, they were friends with UCLA's Samahang. And UCLA's Samahang was very well established in doing PCNs, and they were wonderful in full-on production. So, we thought, hey, let's try it. So we decided to do our first one again in 1986, and compared to UCLA's, it was, really small. But it was okay, it was great, we had a great time. I want to show you what the flyer, basically it was a flyer. That's what the cover looked like. And as you can see, we didn't actually call it PCN. It was called Filipino Festival. And it was on March 14th, 1986. And basically, it was like this, a pamphlet, that was it. I know today's PCN is a full-on book, you have sponsors, and it's awesome. And I'm just gonna show you the program real quick. So that's the program. Okay, so we had a few dances, maybe 4 or 6, very small compared to what's going on now with your PCN. But a couple of dances were Ifugao, Sakuting, Pandango, Tunikling, and we had a lot of talking in this first PCN. A lot of talking. We talked about economics, religion, and politics of the Philippines. We had some guest speakers. We had some answering questions after that. And we just kind of incorporated some of the dances in between all of this. We also had a martial arts demonstration. So it was a lot of fun. Again, it was our very first one, and we were quite proud of it. And after PCN, we had a dance, and we also had some authentic Filipino food. So that was our first PCN. We also had a Filipino dance troupe from Oxnard come and perform for us, and my mom and dad were in that dance troupe, so that was kind of fun. And my dad also sang the national anthem at the very beginning. And I have to show you this because it's really cute. This is a picture of Dante and I. We showcased the traditional barong and the Filipino dress. And this dress was borrowed by one of my aunts. So that was cool. And of course now we are married. So anyway, a little history though with that PCN was because Joji was friends with some of the UCLA members. She was able to borrow some of the costumes that we wore for our first one, and if we didn't have access to the costumes, then we made them. So that was all very homegrown, and we were very excited about that thing. This is our second PCN. Okay, again, it was very small, very small. But in this second one is when we started having skits, because we didn't have a skit in the first one. The second one, again, we did some dances and so forth. But again, it was a lot of fun, and we were a small club. By the second PCN, we had like 25 members in our dance troupe. So I know it's very small compared to what you guys all have going on right now. Basically, what PCN has evolved to, of course, is a wonderful full-fledged production of showcasing our heritage and our dances, and it's been really, really neat to see how PCN has evolved, because like I mentioned, back in the day it was very, very different. We had such a small club. We all did so many things because we had to, right? But now I know that it's you guys take a whole semester to plan PCN, and it is fabulous. When Carlin and Cameron were in FASA, and of course they were very involved with PCN, doing the dances, and of course holding several offices, including presidency. It was great to go back and relive what Dante and I were such a big part of, back, I think it's our 35th year. Will be your 35th PCN, and that's so exciting. That is so awesome to see. So we just wish you the best of luck in this different kind of a PCN that you're doing because of the pandemic. But I can't wait for your next one when it's going to be live again, and we'll all see each other and just have a great time. All right, thanks guys, and enjoy. Bye.
Thank you so much to Alicia Kudiamat for helping us understand the rich history behind FASA's PCN and how much has changed over the past few decades. Now, I'm sure a virtual event was not expected all those years ago, but we are still so grateful to be putting on this program and continuing our legacy. We've still got some great content coming up, so next we have a couple of testimonies about PCN. Testimonies will be playing throughout the program. Our first lovely speakers sharing their PCN experiences with us are Jesse Rogers and Polly De La Rosa. Following that, we will actually be having a brief tutorial on one of the most popular dances in the Philippines, and one of CSUN FASA's favorite dances. So stick around and enjoy our program.
Hi everybody, I'm Jessie Rogers and I was CSUN FASA's script lead for PCN 35.
Hi everyone, my name is Polly De La Rosa. I'm a CSUN FASA alumni as well as a former cultural chair, SC FASA rep, and I was the script writer for our 2017 Filipino Cultural Night, Tungkong Kalan, which is headed by Jojo Ramirez.
What does PCN mean to me?
I have a lot of very fond memories with that production, but also with the productions that followed in the years that followed.
I thought this was a very weird question for me to answer because I was a part of the PCN that didn't really get to be, or that didn't get to live, you know, its fully realized life. But that didn't make it any less special for me.
In terms of a favorite PCN memory, there's a lot. It's very hard to pick just one, but definitely all of the small moments where you kind of see the bonding happen. There's a certain point in PCN where, you know, people are kind of really close to getting their lines down, they're close to getting their steps down and everything, and the rehearsals kind of become like a little village, which I think is very cute. You see people that are resting together, they're sharing food together, they're studying together, and it just has this communal feeling that I really love.
There was one memory in particular where we were all outside of, what's that building? You know that building. And everyone was, you know, either practicing or watching Sari Manuk take the play stage. And I was sitting on the very outskirts, and Danny was a couple feet in front of me. And I see her look up and look around, and then she turns behind herself and she sees me sitting there alone. And she goes, "Hoi, what are you doing there? Come sit next to me." And I was so like, oh, okay. And when I look back at PCN, the small portion of PCN that I got to be a part of, I think about that, because being a part of PCN very much so felt like being welcomed into the room. I think it's always gonna live that way in my mind.
I always think of times where, like, the soloists, for example, they just finished their solo, they gave it their all, they're out of breath, they're like collapsed on the floor, which you don't always want to see, but that means they gave it their all, man. But you see these people like instantly like coming over to them and giving them water, giving them Gatorade, giving them food, making sure they're okay, and that's just so beautiful to me. During 2017, there was like a part where I was really stressing about like finishing the script and stuff, and I think one of my audience saw that. My audience Martha, she kind of slipped me this little note that was very encouraging. It said all the like how much she appreciated the work that we were doing. She also gave me this juice. It's like the Naked brand juice, and it's specifically Green Machine flavor. And I remember that so fondly that every time I like see it in the store, I'll buy it and I'll drink it, and I'll always think of my audience Martha for just that small act of kindness. And of course, like there's so many other instances of that, but those are definitely some memories that stand out to me.
When I was talking to my parents about PCN, I would tell them, you know, the dances I got cast in, and they said, "Oh yeah, I know what that is. I recognize that." And it opened the conversation for, well, you know, what else do you know about this? Where does it come from? Where do you come from? And that's really special for us because I wasn't really interested when I was younger. And now that I am, it doesn't feel as much like I lost time to be asking about this. It feels like, oh, finally, you're here asking about this. That's what PCN means to me.
Hey everyone, I'm here with Tinakling veterans Joreen Aller and Jonathan Lakanlale, and today they're gonna help in teaching us Tinakling basics. Let's do it!
Alright everyone, we're going to start by explaining the counts in Tinakling. So the way you count in Tinakling will be and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And for the ends, that's when you're going to be inside the sticks, and on the actual numbers you'll be outside of the sticks. It'll be a lot easier to hear and think about when you actually hear the sticks clapping in Tinakling, just like this. Alright, so to start us off, we're going to start with a basic 2-count move. It's called crosses. And the way we're going to start it off with is on our right foot, we're going to step into the sticks on the count end, bring in your left foot, and then exit to the right side. You should land on the count 1. And then you're just going to do the same to the left side. It'll be and 2. Now we're going to go ahead and put that together. It'll be and 1 and 2. So right after crosses, we already did 1, 2. So now we're gonna do a half turn. You have your right foot inside the sticks for the and. You're gonna swing your left foot around to the right side, kind of like a pivot. And then for the second count, you're going to swing your left foot back the same way you brought it over. And for that, that'll be and 3 and 4. All right, so now we just did 3 and 4. For our next counts 5 and 6, we're gonna do a full turn, and it'll be just like a half turn, except instead of swinging your legs behind, you're gonna go ahead and complete the circle. So it'll look like this. Same thing, you keep your right foot inside the sticks, bring your leg around, that'll be and 5, bring your leg around again, back to where you started, and 6. And this is what it'll look like put together, and 5 and 6. We got our 5 and 6 down. Let's go ahead and finish that 8 count, and we're just going to do it across again. So it'll be and 7 and 8. All right, let's go ahead and put that all together.
Thank you for learning Tinakling with us. Bye-bye, skins.
Founded in 2003 to build support for the Filipino community at a national level as a response to the scapegoating of immigrants at the aftermath of 9/11, the National Alliance for Filipino Concerns, NAFCON, has a proven track record of promoting the rights and welfare of Filipinos in the U.S. This includes successful campaigns for Filipino immigrants and workers on cases related to deportation and labor trafficking, engagement of Filipino youth across the country through conferences and leadership trainings, tackling topics such as history, culture, and current issues affecting Filipinos in the U.S. and the Philippines. Timely response to disasters in the Philippines through relief and rehabilitation, most recently for communities affected by the Taal volcano eruption and typhoons Rolly and Ulysses in 2020. And regular medical missions serving marginalized communities in the Philippines, which we hope to continue next year.
Thank you to all our friends who helped us create those past videos that you just saw. So up next we have a very special musical segment brought to us by Jojo and Camille Ramirez. They will be teaching us a little bit about traditional Filipino instruments as well as teaching us another fun traditional dance. Following that, we will have a brief 10-minute intermission. Afterwards, stay tuned for a powerful reflection on PCN by Asian American Studies professor, CSUN FASA advisor, FASA alumni, all-around superstar, Professor Alan Aquino. Then, we will be talking about the importance of PCN and telling our stories on stage, followed by a brief video brought to us by IKAT Voices on Cordillera Suites in Pilipino Cultural Nights. With that being said, enjoy what's coming up next.
Hey CSUN FASA, I'm JoJo.
I'm Camille.
And we are FASA alumni and also past PCN coordinators. I was PCN coordinator in 2017.
2010.
And what we are going to present to you are two pieces. The first piece that you just heard was the Kapagulela, which is played by a Kulintang ensemble in the southern Mindanao of the Philippines, in Maguindanao and Maranao culture. That piece consists of the Kulintang player, be entertaining at weddings or special occasions and parties where she twirls her sticks while playing the Kulintang, which plays the main melody. What we have right here is the Saranay, which is a smaller version, the Tabakan, which is a drum, And we don't have it right now, but the agong, which is a big brass gong. And it is said that the more money you give to the kulintang player in playing Kapagalele, the more she plays.
So the second piece you'll be hearing from the Randalia, which is the Spanish influenced string ensemble. In front, well, right here I have with me the laúd, which is usually the counter melody of the ensemble, along with the bandurria, the Spanish guitar, and the upright bass. It has 14 strings, and it's played with the tremolo technique. Thank you. So here's some of the laúd and the bandurria in Gawai Gawai.
And so this next piece we're going to show you is Gawai Gawai, and also includes a little dancing and choreography that we are about to show you. So get ready for this.
Let's jump right in.
Okay. Hi everyone! This dance that we are going to learn is called Gawai Gawai. The meaning of Gawai Gawai is the gabi or taro plant. Gawai Gawai originated in the lowland Christian area, specifically in Tacloban, Leyte, from the Waray peoples. The function of this dance is occupational, from Gawai harvesters digging and pulling through the gabi leaves. Farming out in the fields in the sun is hard and dirty work, so it was only right for them to make light of it and make a fun dance out of it. So don't forget to smile and have fun. These moves do require you to stand up, but do whatever moves that are accessible to you. With that said, let's jump right into it. Oh, I have my special helper here, my sister Camille. So, first thing we're gonna do is start with the feet first. We're going to take 3 steps to the right, 1 and 2 and 3 forward, 4, lunge, back 5, 6, 7, 8. Next, we're going to do the same thing on the left side. 1 and 2, 3, forward, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Cool. Now, we are going to add our arms. So with the arms, it's going to look like this. We're going to have, pretend you have long sleeves on, and you're going to roll them up. So 1 and 2, spread the leaves. 3, 4, grab. 5, 6, 7, 8. Same thing to the left. 1 and 2 and 3, grab. 4, 5, bounce. 6, 7, 8. Cool, and that's basically the first basic of this dance. So let's do this a little half speed. All right? 5, 6, 7, all together. 1 and 2, open up the leaves. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And don't forget to do those moves with gusto because it's a lot of work pulling those taro and gabi leaves out of the way. Cool, so you got the first basic. Now let's do that first figure of moves with music. Hit it. Smile. Ready? And right. 2. Open up, grab the leaves, and pull. 2, 3, 4. Left. Grab and pull. 2, 3, 4. Smile. To the left. And now we're going to move on to figure 2, which is, we're going to do the feet first. You're going to just take 3 steps to the right, and then you're going to click with your heel, just like that, with your left leg up in the air. All right, do it one more time. And 1 and 2, click. And same thing to the left. 3 and 4, click. Cool? Let's do that all together. Ready? 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 and 2, click. 3 and 4, click again. 1, 6, 7, 8. Again. 1, 2, click. 3, 4, click. 5, 6, 7, 8. Cool. Now we are going to add the elbows, which is siko siko. That means elbow. And basically it's like you're rolling and just pushing all your elbows to the side while you hit the clicks with your heels. So with the feet, I'll show you how the arms go. It's fairly easy. Ready? 5, 6, 7, 8. And 1, 2, siko. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Awesome. Now let's do that second figure with music. Hit it. Now those are all the moves, so let's put it all together. Again, don't forget to smile and have fun. If you're doing this with friends or family at home, go ahead and around each other and just dance. This is all a party, so yeah, let's do this.
Rolling.
All right, hit it. Let's go.
Let's do the left side first.
Again, from the top. Woo! Looking good, guys. Last blow. All right, good job, everybody. Thank you for participating with us. And
Rolling.
thank you for having us, and hope you guys are doing well and staying healthy. Bye. Say bye, pups. Is the gabi or taro plant? Gawa gawa.
That was not bad. That's the one.
Forward and back. Ready?
Oh my god. This is gonna be
Ready?
Yes.
Thank you, CSUN FASA, for having us and joining us tonight. Hope you guys are staying well and happy.
You can see the tree.
We are now going to take a brief 10-minute intermission. Go to the bathroom, get food, drink some water, but just be ready for the second half of PCN Rising by the time you're done. I'd just like to take this time to thank our wonderful sponsors again for helping us raise money for NAFCON, especially Filipino Cultural School, the Purple Jar, and Calajo Catering. These are really, really great members of the community and small businesses that I highly recommend to everyone. Filipino Cultural School does a lot of great work with the community, striving to educate Filipino youth about our culture through song, dance, history, social issues, and language, and so much more. If you want some delicious Filipino treats, I recommend the Purple Jar based in Northridge. They're most known for their ube cream cheese, which is so good. It is one of my favorite things to eat. I eat it all the time. And Calajo Catering is a restaurant in Santa Clarita that specializes in Filipino Igorot-inspired baked goods. So these are just some of our really great sponsors that you should support, and we thank them immensely for helping us fundraise. And again, you can also help FASA donate money to NAFCON by sending your donation through Venmo at CSUN FASA. We'll see you after this short break.
No doubt, I'ma run this motherfucker, turn it inside out. Summer haze to winter, I'ma get mine, and I'ma keep on shining every lifetime. Wake up the sleepy third eye to know what I'm about. It was never about the honeys, the monies, the clout. See, I never been a bad bitch. Prefer to make your queen though. Some say I'm too political. Do it to serve the people. They vibing on my scheme. If you didn't, now you know. Diablito with these flows. On my way to take your soul. I'm a pocket full of sunshine with greens and an attitude. I take it day by day, living comfortably in solitude. Antisocial butterfly, keep my circle hella tight. Rocking dirty quartets, got bamboo laughing at me like that. We living in this jungle and we running shit, but hipsters with the daddy's money. Now I'm second guessing it. They treat the hood like it's a zoo where brown folks roam. They tell us go back where you came from while they take our homes. If creation is destruction, give me time to write to enemies. They testing me to keep the peace. I sing to them this remedy like no doubt, I'ma run this motherfucker, turn it inside out. Summer haze to winter, I'ma get mine, and I'ma keep on shining every lifetime. No doubt, I'ma run this motherfucker, turn it inside out. Summer haze to winter, I'ma get mine, and I'ma keep on shining every lifetime.
Hi there, friends. It's me again, Polly.
We are now going to take a brief 10-minute intermission. Go to the bathroom, get food, drink some water, but just be ready for the second half of PCN Rising by the time you're done. I'd just like to take this time to thank our wonderful sponsors again for helping us raise money for NAFCON, especially Filipino Cultural School, the Purple Jar, and Calajo Catering. These are really, really great members of the community and small businesses that I highly recommend to everyone. Filipino Cultural School does a lot of great work with the community, striving to educate Filipino youth about our culture through song, dance, history, social issues, and language, and so much more. If you want some delicious Filipino treats, I recommend the Purple Jar based in Northridge. They're most known for their ube cream cheese, which is so good. It is one of my favorite things to eat. I eat it all the time. And Calajo Catering is a restaurant in Santa Clarita that specializes in Filipino Igorot-inspired baked goods. So these are just some of our really great sponsors that you should support, and we thank them immensely for helping us fundraise. And again, you can also help FASA donate money to NAFCON by sending your donation through Venmo at CSUN FASA. We'll see you after this short break.
No doubt, I'ma run this motherfucker, turn it inside out. Summer haze to winter, I'ma get mine, and I'ma keep on shining every lifetime. Wake up the sleepy third eye to know what I'm about. It was never about the honeys, the monies, the clout. See, I never been a bad bitch. Prefer to make your queen know. Some say I'm too political. Do it to serve the people. They vibing on my scheme. If you didn't, now you know. Diablito with these flows. On my way to take your soul. I'm a pocket full of sunshine with greens and an attitude. I take it day by day, living comfortably in solitude. Antisocial butterfly, keep my circle hella tight. Rocking dirty quartets, got bamboo laughing at me like that. We living in this jungle, now we run this shit. But hipsters with the daddy's money, now I'm second guessing it. They treat the hood like it's a zoo where brown folks roam. They tell us go back where you came from while they take our homes. If creation is destruction, give me time to write to enemies. They testing me to keep the peace. I sing to them this remedy like no doubt, no doubt. I'ma run this motherfucker, turn it inside out. Summer haze to winter, I'ma get mine, and I'ma keep on shining every lifetime. No doubt, no doubt. I'ma run this motherfucker, turn it inside out. Summer haze to winter, I'ma get mine, and I'ma keep on shining every lifetime.
Hi there, friends. It's me again, Polly, CSUN FASA alumni, but also a representative for Filipino Cultural School, FCS. I've been with them for the past 6-ish years as a volunteer, educator, board member, committee member, administrator, what have you. And I just want to talk a little bit more about our offerings for the upcoming summer and fall semesters. For one, our mission statement is to kind of serve the community at large in terms of Filipino culture. So even though a lot of our programs are geared towards K through 12 students, we've recently started offering workshops and classes for adult learners. So that's college students, that's parents, basically anyone over the age of 18. So if you're interested in that, go to our website, filipinoculturalschool.org, and sign up for our monthly newsletter so you can stay updated on when those classes are going to be happening. Secondly, I also want to talk about volunteer opportunities because we have a lot of volunteer opportunities. We are definitely an organization that is very much supported by volunteer work. So if you're interested in learning more about Filipino culture, this is definitely the org to support. We have a lot of different positions such as like general volunteer, where you can be basically a classroom helper in our both our Zoom and our in-person in the future, our in-person classes. So you can kind of see, you can work with Filipino youth, but you can also learn more from our teachers. We also offer, if you're someone that like doesn't really want to be in the spotlight, or you're more comfortable with like behind the scenes work, we also have committees, like a lot of committees in which you can kind of help with behind the scenes work. So for example, we have our outreach and publicity committee, which is basically our social media crew. What they do is they make flyers and talk about like the events that are coming up, but they also have a lot of freedom to kind of post not necessarily whatever they want on our social media, but something, anything that kind of pertains to Filipino culture. So we've had volunteers who said, you know what, let's post like a cool Filipino fun fact every other week. And they did that. They like posted about like different animals, different clothes, different languages, both on the stories and in our Instagram page. That was really cool. We also had another volunteer before that who kind of wanted to rep different Filipino organizations, different Filipino American musicians and artists. So they did that. So if you're someone that likes to kind of work with that kind of flow, like whether it's like repping the culture or the community, then we would definitely love to have you. We also have our events and logistics committee, which is basically anything having to do with event planning. We have events already like set from before. Like we have it's called Laro ng Lahi. It's like a little Filipino games festival that we like to have with our students. But we are also open to new events. So if you have like ideas on how to unite the Filipino community, we would love to have you with that as well. So before I babble anymore, I'm already out of breath. If you're interested in this and interested in volunteering with us at all or working with us or knowing more about us, feel free to go to our website. Once again, that's filipinoculturalschool.org, or you could just email us directly at filipinoculturalschool@gmail.com. Or you could also just hit me up. I've been with it, like I said, for 6 years. So let me know if you're interested. We would love to have you. And yeah, I think that's it for me. Okay, bye. Love you.
Every time I spit a free, but the work is never done. And believe I'll never leave, cause I'm here. Get your hands in the air. Now the greatest is here. I'ma make this my year. Cause I'm finally here. Yeah, I'm finally here. Yeah, I'm finally here. Yeah, I'm finally here. If you call yourself a rapper, talk less and take notes. We slay sheep, respect goats, we pray sleep. And next hope, we take beats to flex, throw finesse these to bless those. They say free, say test, hope we say peace, but stay woke. Leave you cat space till the point I catch praise. Rhymes turn to catchphrase till it starts to cascade. Product of Mac Dre, Wu-Tang, and Kanye. Break beats on beat tapes and break necks, we press play. They say we from the slums where the heroes never won, but my people always sung. Brown faces to the sun, skill to Satan on my tongue. Fuck the spinning from the stations, I'm rotating around the sun. The axis, my mattress, I pass out and pass this. Abstract the masses.
NAFCON launched the Bayanihan Response to COVID-19 campaign to support our communities here in the diaspora and back home in the Philippines. From researching resources, delivering groceries, holding workshops, and to fundraising for heavily affected Filipino communities, through partnership with NAFCON and Kabataan Alliance, local organizations are able to rise up and meet the needs of their communities.
In Southern California, we partnered with the Filipino Migrant Center and have been able to assist over 200 Filipino families across Los Angeles County. This work would not be possible without our volunteers who come from community and student organizations like Filipinos for Community Health at UCLA, Anak Bayan LA, Gabriela LA, Migrante LA, and CSUN FASA. Another project we have developed nationally is a platform called the Filipino American Agenda, which was made to build unity within our community across the country on the foundation of our collective interests and aspirations. This includes the interests of workers, students, women, LGBTQ people, and action on issues like police brutality, anti-Asian violence, and foreign policy that affects our kababayans back in the Philippines. Over the past few months, organizations in our alliance hosted regional and local town halls to have community dialogue with Filipinos all throughout the U.S. regarding these demands, which we will present to the Biden administration on April 30th. It is important for us to come together to push for change around our immediate and long-term concerns.
Last no practice, back-to-back raps. Manila noir, bar for bar. Homie, check the repertoire bar with the brush is subpar. Well, let's set the bar. cause I'm finally here. Get your hands in the air. Now the greatest is here. I'ma make this my year, cause I'm finally here. Yeah, I'm finally here. Yeah, I'm finally here. Yeah, I'm finally here.
Hello, my name is Alan Aquino, and I am a professor of Asian American Studies at Cal State Northridge. I was a member of CSUN FASA from 1992 to 1998. I began my career as a professor in the fall of 2000 and has served as FASA's faculty advisor since the spring of 2001. I actually played the lead in my very first Pilipino Cultural Night, or PCN, in the spring of 1993 and participated with other shows as a performer and script committee member in 1994 and 95. I even made a cameo appearance in the 2000 PCN while still a graduate student at UCLA. Though FASA's PCNs took root in the mid-1980s, the roots of PCN as a youth phenomenon can be traced to the legacy of the legendary Bayanihan dance troupe and the direct mentorship of our peers from UCLA's Samahang Pilipino. For many Filipino-American college students throughout the United States, PCNs are like a rite of passage. They are often the first and only opportunity for Filipino-American youth to learn about and express their cultural heritage. In the process of organizing any PCN, participants not only learn the body movement of our cultural dances, but the deeper symbolism behind them. The process of organizing as FASA, as a collective, impresses upon our audience ancient, indigenous, pre-imperial values like bayanihan and kapwa, our sense of community, shared identity, and oneness. PCN is the very blood of our ancestors, blood that was often literally shed to preserve our identities rooted across the Philippine archipelago. PCN embodies everything that can only belong to us and no one else, and that is one of the richest and most beautiful cultures our human species will ever know. That is what PCN seeks to celebrate and preserve, and that is why PCN truly is a rite of passage for many Filipino Americans and lovers of our culture. PCN, however, is not for everyone. It demands a tremendous amount of energy and time, and it demands courage. It's always a challenge to put on a cultural night show, with countless and intensive rehearsal hours balanced with individual school, work, and family schedules. My FASA atengs and kuyangs back in my day would remind me that PCN is not a major. Get your life together first. But despite the physical and emotional challenges of participating with a PCN, whether as a performer or a member of the stage or script crew, the rewards are far greater than anyone could imagine. One of the greatest and most joyful moments in the memories of any Filipino-American college student is when they cheer wildly with their PCN family after the show's final bows. CSUN FASA, ooh, ah. If we are the building blocks of the same beautiful palace, PCN is the cement that binds us. PCN is not just a celebration of our timeless noble values. PCN is an act of revolution and self-evolution. PCN changes lives. PCN is one of the greatest lessons in discipline, dedication, and compassion. And it is one of the most fun and thrilling roller coasters you will ever ride. But above all, PCN is family, and in our case, FASA family. As we know, family is not just defined by blood or race. Family is defined by whom you love and share your life with most. I am tremendously proud of CSUN FASA and notably the Spring 2021 FASA Board and PCN crew for keeping alive one of our greatest cultural treasures. Despite the limits of the pandemic, it is tremendously inspiring to see how our efforts as a community and our love for our culture is greater than any challenge we could face. Congratulations to FASA for over 4 decades of devotion to the Filipino American community at Cal State Northridge. Congratulations for being the oldest still active Asian American club on campus and being a significant part of CSUN history, San Fernando Valley history, and Filipino American history. Remember that our culture is eternal and greater than we are as individuals. There comes a time when all of us must pass along all that we've learned to those who follow us. I can say with pride that FASA has stayed true to that mission, and I look forward to every PCN yet to be imagined, organized, presented, and celebrated. Till we meet again, take care everyone, and welcome to our 2021 PCN Rising.
I want to talk about why I think PCN, Filipino Cultural Night, can be super important. It's important to me, but it can also be super important to Filipino Americans just trying to navigate their identity and their culture. You have this production that showcases a lot of dances from around the Philippines, not just one area of the Philippines, but the entire thing. But you also have this script that lets us tell our stories on our own terms, and which can translate into really fantastic productions that tie everything together into this kind of manifestation of Filipino American experience. But going specifically to the dances, I think for me, the dances definitely opened up the meaning of Filipino culture. It's not just this monolithic thing of like, oh, that's where adobo comes from and that's where Manny Pacquiao comes from. No, there's so much more to it, and like PCN was definitely one of the stepping stones to that. So for example, you see dances that might be more familiar to the general Filipino American populace, like tinikling, but you also see dances from the northern Luzon, the Cordilleras region. So like the Ifugao and the Kalinga, you see dances that are inspired by their culture. Down south, you have the indigenous Lumad people, and you have the Muslim peoples like the Maranao and the Maguindanao and the Tausug and the Yakan. And you see these dances that are inspired by these cultures. Quick side note, I think it's important to note that a lot of the dances we do perform, they're not always necessarily from the cultures. Like if you go to these cultures, they're not necessarily going to be performing the same steps as we are. These are actually choreographed dances by like Manila based or like, these single choreographers that took inspiration from these cultures, which on one hand can be a little problematic because it's kind of like, you're not from that culture. Why are you trying to distill their entire culture into like a dance that might not be true to it, that might not do it justice? But at the same time, I think that can also open it up to Philams to do their research, to find out for themselves, like, okay, if this dance isn't quite Ifugao, Kalinga, Tausug culture, what is? And like, what inspired this person to make these dances? I know then it gets kind of more into like specific things, but I think it is very worth it to research these cultures as well as their descendant communities. These cultures are still very much alive. There's this narrative that these are the old people, they're the primitive people, as some older Filipinos might say. They're not. For one, they're still very much alive. For two, a lot of them have also migrated to the United States. And for three, the Philippine government, to get a little political, it has not always been super fair to their life and to their land. So I think it is worth teaching and talking about that. If we're going to be dancing these dances that are inspired by these peoples, we should research what those peoples are all about and how they're doing right now. And that aside, PCN can also be a great opportunity for us to explore our own roots. Not just Filipino, but where are your parents from? What part of the Philippines are they from? And is there any PCN dances that might correspond to that region? For example, if you're from Cebu, they say that tinikling actually comes from Cebu, not just Manila. But yeah, you can also connect to your roots through, especially the rural/barrio dances. Those are super fun. For example, there's Inalimango, which is like a crab dance. It's super cute. It's super fun. There's also Lapay Bantige, which is like a seagull dance where you dance like a seagull. Those are super fun. They're meant to, express joy and express like this rural flavor. You can explore your roots through that way as well. Same with the Maria Clara dances. we associate rural and Maria Clara dances with, you know, like, oh, these are the colonized parts of the Philippines, but they're full of Filipino culture as well. That's still a part of our history, and that's still a part of our culture. And, you know, it's researching into it, and dancing those dances can also connect us just as much as connecting to another culture that we don't have roots from. Like I said, the indigenous Filipino peoples. PCN can be super helpful in exploring this expanded version of Filipino culture. This fact that it's not monolithic, it's not just adobo and Manny Pacquiao, it's Muslim people, it's Lumad indigenous people, it's people from the Cordilleras, it's the lowland people that were colonized but that fought against that colonization. And you can see it in our dances, which is super amazing. And lastly, I think it's important to tell our stories on stage. As a former scriptwriter, I thought it was really cool how I had these certain ideas that I wanted to be translated to script, and as soon as I wrote them and as soon as I showed them to our cast, it was manifested. It was there, like the lines were being said by real people and my story was coming out through them. And I thought that was so, oh, I'm getting emotional. Like, that was just so amazing to be like, wow, like this part of my identity that I wanted to transmit to the world, it's being said by my closest friends, and it's gonna be seen by my closest family and friends as well. That's incredible. And I think that's also the beauty of PCN, is that I was blessed to not only see PCNs from FASA, but I was also able to see PCNs from UCLA, USC, CSU Channel Islands. I'm missing out on a lot of schools because I can't say them off the top of my head. Cal Poly, Pomona, shout out to Barcata. But yeah, I was able to see the different PCNs and the different ways that people translate their Filipino-American experience. And I thought that was super incredible, because no two PCNs are the same. We might have similar dances, we might have similar choreographies, we might even have a lot of like similar themes in our scripts. There's similar themes, definitely, but they're all super unique. You're never gonna find the same PCN twice. And that's because our Filipino-American experience, you're never gonna find the same Filipino-American experience twice. And that's super inspiring to me. And I think that's why, in any capacity, definitely do PCN. If you don't see your own story on PCN, if everything I'm saying right now is BS to you, then you can also be the next script writer. But it's like, take that energy and also channel it to talking about PCN, talking about like these stories and why or why not they're addressing to your personal experience. So I've rambled for long enough, but basically I think PCN is awesome. It's not perfect. There's a lot that we can address, that we can discuss, but I love what it brings to the table and how it can evolve from here. And yeah, that's me, Polly De La Rosa. Bye-bye.
Hi everyone, thanks Manong Joseph. I'm Carrie, I'm from Sagada and Bisao in Bontoc, born and raised in Daly City, California, just south of San Francisco. Go Bay. So let me just bring it all back to a personal story. I was about 12 years old, hanging out at a plaza, Daly City, waiting for my parents to get something from the store, hanging out with my sister, and there were other Filipino men hanging out outside, maybe like, you know, someone you would call uncle for sure. One of them said to me, "Oh, kumusta ka?" I said, "Oh, hello." And he asked me, "Hey, do you speak Tagalog?" And I said, "No, I never learned Tagalog. My parents don't speak Tagalog. But I do know how to speak and understand Ilocano, as well as my parents' dialect Kankanai, which is Igorot." And this man straight up was like, "What? You don't know Tagalog? Then you are not a real Filipino." From that point on, I felt what Manong Joseph said about Igorots. I felt like I was thought of as other. Apparently, the Filipino community in Daly City, which, by the way, has the highest number of Filipinos in the diaspora, was not accepting of me as an Igorot. When I spoke to now you might think this is an isolated incident, but when I spoke to my Igorot brothers and sisters around, and especially in San Diego, I've discovered that this is a similar experience that we've all had and that we've all gone through with non-Indigenous Filipinos. So I went through, high school, the rest of my childhood thinking, of course, that I'm Igorot first, and that I didn't even actually identify as Filipino. But come college, I decided, hey, I'm gonna join PCN, or as we called it at UC San Diego, PCC for Filipino Cultural Celebration. Growing up, I had Igorot manos who used to show me videos of Igorot performances from PCNs at various colleges. And these horrified me, right? They were so theatricized, so fake, probably stuff Bayani Han came up with back in the day. I don't know, but I knew that they were not Igorot. So for me, it felt super important to participate, to be a responsible bearer of my culture, and at least be the person providing the information for Igorot-inspired dances in a space where I could be used as a resource. I would like to also point out that had it not been for Manong Joseph being present at UC San Diego and having had an established position within the Filipino American community on campus, within the ethnic studies and Asian American studies community, that I don't think I would have felt the same way, and that I would have felt so at least given a platform. So at UCSD, the process for PCC practices wasn't just practice. We spent 2 academic quarters doing workshops as well as practices before the actual performance. Something I wanted to stress with the group of people who participated in all of my dances that I did at my time there was that even though we were doing something for performance purposes, in real life, these dances and music, the hand movements, the gangsa, the singing, other instruments are pretty sacred. They're important, and they shouldn't be just thought of as performative. So, before I even let people touch gongs or do dances, we had these conversations and these discussions. And it felt good. It felt good to have people listen to me. No one was actually Igorot who I taught at school, but I felt like I was heard and that people were asking the right questions, and it felt really good. I also felt like I sparked a curiosity for deeper learning within these folks, and actually seeking out Igorots and other people you want to learn anything from, to actually get things from the source. From this moment, I did feel like I was finally a part of the Filipino American community. So what IKAT has done for me, it has given me a chance to acknowledge past events that I might have swept under the rug for my own survival. I'm speaking here to you all, sharing space and experiences that are close to my heart, hoping that you can take away some of the same things that folks took away from my PCC workshops, especially the same curiosity of listening and learning from Indigenous folks. Thank you all so much, and now I'm gonna hand it.
Recently, there's been a rise of events regarding Asian and Pacific Islander hate crimes across America. CSUN FASA would like to provide some resources during these difficult times. We would also like to emphasize that there are so many other ways to stay updated with current events, and we encourage everyone to continue pursuing other resources to stay involved and to remain informed. Our AAPI community needs our support now more than ever. We must put our best foot forward together in solidarity. We must strongly stand with our elders and our Black, Indigenous, and POC brothers and sisters of all communities. Be informed, be safe, be kind, and be united.
To join our Bayanihan Community Response Project, to endorse the Filipino American Agenda, and to get involved in more of our activities, follow us or send us a message via Instagram or email. Maraming salamat CSUN FASA for your support. and let us continue to bring hope and power to our communities through collective action.
Unfortunately, the end of our program is approaching, but we still have a couple of great videos coming up. Next up, we have another brief IKAT Voices video, then our last few testimonies on the CSUN FASA PCN experience from Raquel San Diego and Sam Shigematsu before we close off our program.
and I'm Raquel San Diego.
And I'm Sam Shigematsu, and we were the co-PCN coordinators
of PCN 35, Pagkakaugnay.
So to me, PCN, it means having the opportunity to learn and to grow and to expand and educate yourself about not only the Filipino culture in terms of arts and history, but also to explore, who you are as a person, to really understand how you're able to take on your workload and to grasp and understand and comprehend everything that happens within yourself and around the world. It also gives you a great opportunity to learn the other people on your cast and meet new friends, meet new colleagues, meet people who you otherwise wouldn't have met in maybe like just a regular class that you had. So it's just the opportunity to do things that you never thought you could do before in any other sort of situation.
PCN to me is a time where I can really connect with my friends and my culture and really learn more about where I come from and who I am. I feel like it's definitely helped me identify more with my Filipino American side, and I feel like no matter what I say, it's never enough to truly describe what PCN means to me just because it's so big, but it always gives me that sense of home and connected feeling.
PCN has made me feel more connected to my culture in very different ways as opposed to probably Raquel or some other people in FASA. I am one of the handful of people in FASA who is not Filipino American. I am Japanese Chilean American. Like going into FASA and everything, I was a little like hesitant because I was like, oh, I'm a Filipino. Does that mean I shouldn't be here? But actually Raquel was like the first person I met, and she was like, no, you can totally be in FASA, we love you. With doing PCN and performing in PCN, I just had like this sense of like belonging there, and I absolutely adored it. And whenever like I see like my family, like I like to talk to them about FASA and about PCN and stuff, and I'll like show them the videos of the dances that we do and everything. And a lot of them, they tell me they're like, wow, this is like really, really cool. Like I wish we had stuff like this in school for like for us Japanese people and everything. And they were just like, it's like a real shame that we didn't have this, or that we didn't get to have this growing up. So it's a real privilege and a real honor to be a part of something like PCN. Because not everybody gets to have that. I think being able to participate in something like PCN, even though it isn't my own culture, it isn't a part of me in terms of blood, like I've learned so much, and then I get to share it with my family, and they get to, live vicariously through me to really sort of learn and understand what it could be like to truly embrace culture in like a more traditional sense or in a more artistic sense.
PCN made me feel more connected through my culture because I learned more about the sense of community that we have through the dances that we perform, because most of them are about family or the neighbors or the bayan and protecting family or accepting new family and embracing family. So I've definitely learned more about how much family means to Filipinos and our culture. It's also helped me feel closer with other Filipino Americans that I meet through our practices. I definitely have a second family here at CSUN FASA because of PCN, and it really helped me feel more like myself, because I always talk about how I can actually identify myself as Filipino American now because I've done PCN and I've learned more about my culture and our values and how deeply like I can connect with it. Made me gain more confidence in who I am as a Filipino American.
I guess one of my favorites is my Binalan Binog solo, a Charlene's. It was PCN 34 2019, and so if you don't know, Binalan Binog is about a mama hen protecting her baby chickens from a hawk that's trying to eat them. And I remember like performing it. I was like so scared to perform because whenever we did it in rehearsal, like it felt like each time felt like such a spiritual experience in a way. I remember when actually doing it on stage for the 2 shows that we had that night. I remember the first show, I dropped my wings a lot. I dropped them 3 times, and then I remember feeling so disappointed because in a way it sort of felt like I was letting like the spirit of the mother down. In this dance, whenever I think of that dance, I always have like such great memories because I love that dance so much. It's probably one of my favorites that I participated in. I just know that whoever was with me, because I knew it was somebody, just couldn't tell who, and I knew it was a woman. But whoever was with me, I knew that she was there with me the entire time, and she never left me, even though like it felt like I let her down and I dropped her wings. But I knew that she was always there. I knew that I held her. I knew that she was never gonna leave me. And sometimes I still feel like whoever that is still around, like whoever that spirit is. I'm still kind of trying to figure out who she is, but she just meant so much to me. Sometimes like when I think of that dancer, when I think of PCN, I just kind of feel like whoever like that guardian angel is, like I feel like she's there. So yeah, it's probably one of my favorites.
There's many favorite PCN memories, but I think I can't like think of like a single moment exactly, but one of my favorites is always practicing in this space. And
wow.
Like, it being like late night practices, and it'd be really cold and everyone would just kind of like cuddle together for warmth like penguins. And like, or at the corner where I was sergeant one year and I had my pub pal, and we were always at the corner like working on props, chatting, helping each other out, kind of a thing. They really felt like my little children that I wanted to take care of and protect them. So yeah, I think anything that I did with Pub Pound, those are probably my most favorite memories because it really was just us like working together or goofing off sometimes. We used to we had like PVC pipes that we would bang and use as instruments. Those were like always fun, and just like PCN does get stressful, so being able to like cry with them or like really stress when we needed to during like car rides or whatever was always nice. And just yeah, like my favorite memories were just the bonding moments I had with my pub pound or with my cast members or board and everything, because that's when I felt like I was just me being me and them being them, and the sense of like vulnerability was like, I used to be so scared of that, but PCN like taught me that it's okay and that it's safe because everyone is in it together. Back to like it being like that sense of community, that sense of bayanihan, you know? So yeah, I don't really have one specific PCN memory that's my favorite. It's just overall that sense of family that I have with Cass.
The baby! The big baby.
Filipino Cultural Night. a night that we spent many long nights preparing for. PCN, at its core, is a way of continuing the traditions of the Filipino culture. It's much more than just a dance show or the story told in script. Over the past months, we've put in so much time, effort, energy, tears, and more into making this event what it is.
All the chemicals control. Are they written in my native tongue? Open-ended cosmic code. I know I can't be the only one. 'Cause I felt vibrations across a burgundy sea. Now I bet my head on a mission I couldn't leave. But maybe there's a moon inside these lines, habitable and chosen. Maybe there's a home behind these eyes, waiting until my logic falters and I'm losing hope. Who knows? Who knows?
What we love about PCN is that you really feel the love and passion that everyone puts into making this special for everyone seeing it. It's much bigger than any of us individually and still bigger than us collectively. For PCN, we go all in. We have to. We are never going to have a moment like this again. The bonds that we've made will still be there, but new people will join and others will have to depart on their own paths.
Chosen. Maybe there's a home behind these eyes, waiting until my logic falters and I'm losing hope. Who knows? Who knows?
PCN starts out as a shared story and transcends to the shared experience.
So that beautiful video that you just saw was made by one of our very talented general members, Alex AJ. It's a reflection of our time during PCN 34, Walang Hiya, back in 2019. I thought it was a great way to show the overall PCN experience and what it means to so many of us. So huge thank you to Alex AJ for creating that video and allowing us to share it with everyone. And with that being said, that is the end of our program. I'd just like to take these last few moments to thank everyone who was involved in putting this program together. So another thank you to all of our sponsors for this event, especially Calajo Catering, Filipino Cultural School, and the Purple Jar. Your work in the community truly means a lot, and again, I highly recommend checking them out. Thank you to those who were generous enough to share their time and talents with us. Bear with me, I'm going to try and thank all of you right now. So thank you to Jesse Rogers, Polly De La Rosa, Raquel San Diego, Sam Shigematsu, Alicia Kudiyama, Jonathan Lakanlale, Joreen Aller, Jojo and Camila Ramirez, Professor Alan Aquino, IKAT Voices, and of course NAFCON. Without you, this show wouldn't have been possible. Thank you to everyone who has donated towards NAFCON. We really appreciate you. Again, there is still some time to donate through Venmo at CSUN FASA, and you can also check out NAFCON's website for more info on how you can get involved or more about the organization at navconusa.org, or check out their Instagram at NAFCON SoCal. And a big thank you to my Spring 2021 board, PR Chair Maricar De Manuel, Academic Chair Bernadine Corbin, Secretary Chris Pavone, and Vice President Kayla Helicanau. Your support and dedication to this event and this club means the world, and it also means the world to me that you put up with my crazy ideas for this event. And of course, thank you to all of you for tuning in. We wish we could be with you in person, but we are still so blessed to be together with you virtually. We hope you learned some things, felt excitement about doing PCN in person again one day, or just felt a sense of unity and love of having this space for us. Even though we couldn't have our usual PCN, this is our time to reflect on what it means to us and what we can take away from our culture together and as individuals. We'll see you soon. Ingat, take care. Maraming salamat. Thank you very much.